Hello! In this tutorial I will show you the techniques I use to place a camera inside a vending machine using Blender and After Effects, like this shot. By using these techniques, we will be placing a camera inside one of these, like this shot. Here's how I put a camera inside a vending machine using VFX. Using Polycam's app, I got the 3D scan of the chips packet using my iPhone. And once I had this 3D model, I was able to put it in Blender. And there, I modeled the inside of the vending machine, made the coils and covered the top and the bottom with reflective metal surfaces. The video was here, but I used it only for reflections and as the light source. I bring it all together in After Effects. I scale the video down, adjust the color of the vending machine, add vignette, do some color in Premiere, and we have the final result. I found this great air conditioning model on Sketchfab, but this is a really simple shape that you can make in Blender. But if you don't want to bother with that, you can download this air conditioning model made by Marcinka Viots. Link is in the description. I download it as FBX format, and once downloaded, I unzip it. I go into Blender, I press F3 and write import FBX. Press enter, and then import my model. It comes in really small, so I scale it up. Now here's what I did with this model. I go into here, and if I press L, it selects all the connected geometry. I press H to hide it. I do the same thing to these. I hover my mouse over them, press L, and then hide. This bit I delete, and I select these in wireframe mode. Press P, selection, and this separates these things from the rest of the model, because to the rest of the model I will place subdivision surface modifier. If you press Ctrl then 1 or 2, it adds that level of subdivision. Now I'll go into edit mode again, Alt H to unhide, and I'm going to delete these faces and also these faces. Now I can place my camera inside. I turn the model around, RZ 180. Now I can put the camera inside of there. Then I will bring in my footage using Image Planes add-on. It ships with Blender. You just have to enable it from preferences. If you go into add-ons and write images, just click that check mark and you have it. Shift A, image Planes. When importing, I will press emit and then bring it in. Let's see, in render mode, I will press RY180, and when I look through the camera, it already looks like it's working. One other trick I do is, I could have gotten a HDRI there while I was shooting this video, but I was lazy, so I'm just gonna use the video itself as the HDRI, and I find that works really well for most cases. But of course the best option is to have an HDRI taken in the exact location. So I can go into shading, world. If I press Ctrl T, it's gonna give me the environment texture node if you have the node wrangler add-on enabled. If you don't, preferences, add-ons, node wrangler, just enable it there. Press open and I bring in the footage one more time, but it's upside down, so I will go into rotation, Y, 180, and that will make it the right side up. Now if I look through the camera, the effect already works. One other thing I will do is I'll bring in a plane, rotate it, bring it back. I will give it a new material, make it dark, no specular, roughness all the way. And if I look through the camera, that's what I'll see. But if I go into object properties, go under visibility and uncheck camera here, it's gonna be invisible to the camera, but it will still block off the light. So now I look through the camera and the inside of the air conditioner will be dark. I will delete the other lights I have in the scene. And this already works, but let's spice it up a little more. I will bring in a plane, go into edit mode, and then scale it down. Then I'll click on this edge, extrude. I'm trying to wrap it around here. I'm going to add an edge loop here by pressing Ctrl R. And I'll pull it back like that. Bring this face up. Bring this closer. You can also bevel these edges if you click on these edges and Ctrl B. Scroll up with your mouse and bevel the corners like that. For the rest of this strip, I'm gonna go Ctrl R, scroll up with my mouse, and that's going to add a bunch of edge loops. Go into edit mode, go into face select. I'm going to select these faces, assign them to a new vertex group. Go there, plus assign. Now we add the cloth simulation. Press cloth, go down under shape, choose the group. Now if you press play, it's gonna fall down. Shift A, force field, wind. Point it in the correct direction. Bump this up a lot. Yeah, now it's working. Now I'm going to copy this 2 more times. One there. And one more around here maybe. And I will make it thinner. And maybe shorter. And we can shade smooth. And if you want to change the position again, you have to go into the first frame, where the cloth simulation is not running, the simulation start frame. And once I add these two, I'm going to look through the footage. I isolate it. I will scrub through and see where I want it to start. It should be around there. I copy this, paste it there, and then go where I want it to end. So about there. I will place my end frame there. Bring back all the other objects. Now the cloth simulation will not work because our start frame was 1. So I'll copy this 160, go under cache, paste it there. And then I can paste end frame as well. We can maybe make the start frame a little earlier, so they are already blowing in the wind. Then I will bake them one by one. One other thing we can do is, can pull the camera back a little, place a keyframe here, go to the end, push in a little, change the angle slightly. Then I have this add-on called Camera Shakeify. It's by Ian Hubert and it's for free. Link is in the description. You can add a bunch of different camera shakes here. I'll add the investigation, put the influence down to 0.1 and speed to 0.3. And let's see what that looks like. I'm gonna hide this plane there. And that looks like a fun camera moment. At the end we can see the end of the plane there. Let's see what that looks like. So maybe I can pull it down a little. And now we see the top of it ends. But since our HDRI is also the same color, it looks okay. I'm going to make the camera a little wider, 28. Adjust my camera, put in the keyframes again. And for that final bit of spice, I will add in an empty. In depth of field, I will choose that empty. Add in a keyframe there for the location. And then I will go further a little. Move the empty on top of the footage. And we will have that focus pull effect. And we have our final shot. It's really interesting to me that once you know a little bit of VFX, your mind opens up to a lot more possibilities on what you can do with your camera, like placing it inside a vending machine. It perhaps would be possible for me to place it in there, but not as easy as this. And I don't think I'd be able to place a camera inside a storm drain. So it's really good to know. And I hope this was useful to you somehow, and I hope to see you in the next one. I'll see you in the next one. I hope.